Hi, I'm Eric from Performance Bicycle, and I'm here today to talk to you about saddles. Saddle choice can be bewildering. You could spend as little as $20 for a saddle. You could spend as much as $300 for a saddle. So why? Well, how do we account for the differences? As you go up in price point with saddle, the material of construction changes. An entry-level saddle will use steel rails, it'll use heavier padding, typically a synthetic or vinyl cover. As you go up in price point to a more performance-oriented saddle, construction changes. This particular saddle uses titanium rails. It uses a lighter weight nylon shell. It uses super light foam padding. As you go up further and further up into these, $100, $200, $300 price points, you're getting things like full carbon fiber shells, carbon fiber rails, leather covers. Some saddles, like Brooks saddles, we use very expensive hand-tooled leather construction. So this is what you're paying for as you go up in price. Now, buying a more expensive saddle isn't going to mean it's comfortable for you. Buying a really cushy saddle isn't going to necessarily make it comfortable. A lot of this comes down to your own anatomy, to personal preference. When I worked in bike shops, I'd have people ask me, hey, what's the most comfortable saddle? And my answer to that was really easy. I have no clue. I can tell you what the most comfortable saddle is for me. I can't tell you what the most comfortable saddle is for you. A trend now in saddles is to offer them in multiple widths. So you may see a given model of a saddle that comes in 2 or 3 widths. And the reason we do that is people have different width sit bones. So when they come up with multiple widths, the idea is you could kind of maybe find a saddle that's going to suit your anatomy a little bit better. When we look at a women's specific saddle, which this Sella San Marco saddle is, really what's making it women specific is the fact that it's so wide. Women have wider pelvises, therefore wider sit bones, so you need a wider saddle. That's not to say a woman couldn't ride this saddle and be perfectly comfortable on it. Again, it just comes down to anatomy, riding style, your position on the bike. If you have a real racy road bike and your position's very aggressive and stretched out, it changes your position on the saddle and the amount of weight you put on a saddle versus a cruiser bike where you're sitting very upright. You're putting a lot more weight on the saddle, which is why a cushier saddle on a bike like that might feel better to you. There's also all sorts of anatomical features. Cutouts are very common. They've been around for years. The idea is it relieves soft tissue pressure. So this is a fairly typical cutout design. You can take a look at this Sella SMP saddle. It's pretty radical. The cutout's enormous. It runs really the full length of the saddle. It also has a really radical profile. So this whole thing has been engineered for comfort, to relieve soft tissue pressure, to allow blood flow, to combat numbness. This is something you might try if you're having a lot of pain or discomfort on longer rides. These saddles have become probably one of our best-selling saddles, and there's obviously a reason for that. There's a lot of people experiencing discomfort. So people are willing to give a radical saddle like this a try. So I guess the most important thing to consider is, in general, when you're looking for a saddle, is one, cost. Paying more won't necessarily guarantee you comfort. Your position on the bike is going to affect comfort. You have to make sure you have a proper fit. That's going to affect saddle comfort. Your riding style is going to affect your saddle choice. So these are all things you have to take into account. If you're new to the sport, it's good to ask more experienced riders. Hey, what works for you? I'm having this problem or this issue. What have you guys done to deal with that? Ultimately, saddle selection is very important. It's probably one of the most important decisions you're going to make for performance and comfort. At Performance, we've got you covered. We've literally got dozens of styles you can choose from, and we have you covered with our 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if something doesn't work, you can buy with confidence knowing we're going to take care of you. So check out online. We have a huge assortment. If you're near a Performance store, stop in and see what we have there. And thanks for watching. I'm Eric. Enjoy the ride.